What is up, YouTube? Okay, let's do that torn skin effect on the hand with our scar wax. So what we need is scar wax first off. Need some Vaseline. Need some sort of powder, cornstarch, flour works, baby powder, some latex, some blood in a bottle, scab blood, tissue, some Q-tips. The bowl, I got a little bit of dishwashing soap in it. I put the blood into that, and what this does is when you put it on top of that Vaseline, it doesn't separate. So if you go in, you don't add soap to the blood, and you put regular straight blood on top of that the scar wax, it puddles up and it separates, and then it's not like thick. So we just mix that together, put that to the side. You gotta kind of prep stuff first. Q-tips, you gotta rip the ends off of them. So there's something like that. Let me shut that TV off. Nobody wants to listen to Bon Jovi. Let me do the other one. These will be kind of like our bone when we place them into our hands. It'll be like this. Okay, so now we take our scar wax. Really depends on how you want to, what you're shooting for. So I just roll it up. I'm going for these two tendons right here. Somewhere's around there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do first, before I do that, is my hands are very hairy, so I want to Vaseline this up some. Because when we put the latex on, it's going to rip all my hair out. Unless your hands are smooth. So what we're going to do is kind of lay it out. This is kind of hard to do on yourself. And then when you smooth this stuff out, you put some Vaseline on your finger, and it smooths out way easier. And then what I try to do is I try to not mess with this inside too much. Let's see how far that is. Probably could scoot this over a little bit. Let me just get ourselves another one. Kind of drag it over to this side. I mean, you can get all like super technical and blend this all in perfect, but what we're trying to do is kind of get a kind of like a raised lip. But you don't really want it too tall, because then it just looks kind of weird. So kind of something of that nature will work. So now what we do is we take our latex, and we fill this whole thing in right here. You can get it on your scar wax too. It doesn't really matter very much. So what we do at this point, I'm not going to bore you with drying latex, is Put a layer on. Wait till it dries up and it's clear. Put another layer on. Wait till it's dried up clear. Do that about 3 or 4 times and you'll be good. I'll be back when that's dried up. Alright, so we're pretty much dried all the way up. You can touch it and it's not tacky. It's not sticking. But what we need to do, because what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the latex, pick at the latex over here, and then pull this up, and then leave the knuckle part, this whole section right here, attached is the goal. But now we need to powder this, so I just use cornstarch. Just a little tiny bit, because if you don't powder it, it's going to stick to itself when you peel it over. Oh, maybe you'll want it to stick to itself. Maybe that's what you're shooting for. So now we just got to get in here and kind of find a spot to dig up. It's probably going to pull my hair out some, but then what you can always do is just go back and then flatten out the, if it pulls up the scar wax, we can go and just go back and touch it up a little bit. So we're trying to kind of keep this as a sheet. And the reason it's pulling up the scar wax right there is because the latex that's dried on top of it. But no worries, we will fix that. All it takes is just a little bit of going back on it to kind of smooth it out. Alright, so we got our nice chunky part. So now what you want to do is take a little bit more latex, grab yourself your Q-tip, and of course your cotton's going to stick to everything now. Kind of put it, just kind of rub it down on a couple spots there. And then we'll rub some more latex down here. And we'll embed this. Oh, that's a little too long. Let me grab scissors. I guess that's why you measure first, but I'll use that for the other one. That's more like it. And then we tuck it under. So that's our one tendant. So now we got to do the other one. I think this one I'll probably keep a little bit shorter. So I'll probably just use that short one that I had cut. Let me get this off my hands really quick because it's starting to stick. It's probably why you're supposed to use a paintbrush and not your finger, but I'm lazy. That's just one more tool you got to clean. So then we kind of puddle this up again here. And drop this guy down into here. Kind of pull your skin back a little bit. Alright, so just got to let that dry up some. Make sure it sticks, because this one's still kind of, you can see it wiggle when I touch it, so I'm just kind of let that dry up. Oh, there she moved, because it's sticking. Bastards. There. Don't touch it anymore. Okay, so we just gotta let that dry up. Alright, so that part's pretty much dried up. Could still take a little bit longer, but while that's like that, I'm gonna take these little hairs from the cotton ball that we had tore off the ends, or not the cotton ball, the Q-tip, sorry, and I'm gonna put some of that in there just because it'll make it look cooler. Just kind of stick it down into it. It'll add some texture to it. Okay, probably won't stay there because there's no latex there, but alright, now this is the fun part. We get our scab blood and we kind of pack it into spots. This cotton's going to want to kind of roll off on it, but no biggie. This stuff just gives it like a better depth because this stuff is way darker. So you want to kind of put it in, and you just got to work with it and see where you want it. And see what you're shooting for. Alright, so that's pretty much our base coat. Now we just run some blood into this guy. I pretty much just pour it in, kind of let it run where it wants to. And then with these little dotted spots, I kind of come back and kind of touch this up on the edges a little bit. Just a little bit. And if you wanted to, you can go and kind of clean your bone up a little bit. That's pretty much the whole thing right there. Then you can always pull the flap back over and kind of run some blood into the back of it. And then just pull it back that way. Now with the scar wax, if you actually put, after you get your base down with the scar wax around it, and if you put latex on top of it, it won't move all around then. But I didn't want to sit here for 45 minutes making a video. But that's pretty much it, and it moves and stuff too. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Gets you a pretty decent shot, and then you can always move the skin wherever you want it. Maybe you want it like that, or dangle it around and mess with it. It's pretty much the whole thing. When you clean this, all you gotta do is just peel the whole thing off. The blood, it's gonna stain your hands a little bit, so use shaving cream. Just take a big old thing of shaving cream in your hands and wash your hands up really good with it, and it'll pull all this red off. And then just wash your hands with regular soap and water, and your hands will be pretty darn clean then. And that's pretty much the skin hand. Let me throw that over there, the chunky part. Thanks for watching, guys.